Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Chase Tootin with Rango Dango Reads, episode 4. Um, so the last episode we did The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Fabulous book, by the way. This episode we are going over Faculty Lounge. I initially thought it was called Teacher's Lounge. Apparently it's Faculty Lounge. There's another book called Teacher's Lounge by someone else. I don't. I'm curious. I don't know why. I still don't. I didn't look at the book to even find out who the author is, but the author, I'll put that in the description of the episode. I should have. Oh gosh, it's still mirrored. I'm like moving one way, it's going the other way. Ugh. Um, but yes, here we are, episode 4, Faculty Lounge by some unknown author. She's very known. She's very popular. Has a book turned into a movie called Moxie. Never read it. Don't know anything about it, but that's what I do know about her. So she does have some. Uh, she's got some cred. She's got some street cred. Um, but now we're back with episode 4, Faculty Lounge. I've said this 1,000 times, so I'll probably keep saying it. I am sweaty as balls right now. It is so hot. Today was the last day of school for students, so students are gone. Summer's basically started, and I got to go to a dinner tonight, and I had to mow the lawn, and so I had to mow the front yard, and then I had to go to the backyard and pick up the dookie, not my dookie, dog dookie. And then I had to mow the backyard, and it was super thick because of all the poop that never got picked up. Then I just picked it up. Obviously, I washed my hands. I wore latex gloves. Don't think I was picking up dookie barehanded. I was not doing that. But I did. So I wore gloves. I picked up this dookie. Some of it was anyway. I'm not going to talk about poop. Well, no, I'm not going to talk about poop because it was disgusting. But anyway, the point of the matter is the reason I'm shirtless is because it's super hot outside and I can't wear a shirt right now. I can't be restricted. It's all right. I thought about wearing a tank top. I had this super dope tank top. Um, but it's way too hot. I'm way too cooling down right now to wear a shirt. I'm jazzed. I'm so jazzed right now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, I'm jazzed. But anyway, so sorry for not wearing a shirt. That's how we are. And another thing, I'm just spitting off things as I think of them. I don't plan any of this. It's everything's off the dome, right? I don't plan that. I should plan a little bit better, but what's the fun in that, right? We like to just talk. So, what was I even gonna say? Oh no. Oh yeah. The length of these podcasts are going to potentially get longer. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But the reason I said they would probably be between 10 and 15 minutes, first off, book reviews don't need to be super long. And secondly, because I thought by posting on YouTube, I didn't know that I had the verification, but apparently I can post my videos longer than 15 minutes. So we're not going to be on a super time constraint. I may talk fast because that's apparently what I do. So whatever. So ooh. But yeah, so 10 to 15 minutes, still ideal right around 15, because we'll add some fluff in there like this. We'll add some pizzazz, some right, we'll get it in there. So time not as important as it was initially. And also another thing, this I did plan to say. So the first couple episodes, I listened to them, I listened back, and not to say that they were bad, but they weren't overly exciting. And it felt like I didn't realize this as I'm speaking, but maybe subconsciously, I was completely refrained. I was holding myself back at like trying to be more serious, not on purpose maybe, but just like subconsciously, I'm like, oh, I'm reviewing a book. I got to be more serious. But the words can be serious. The tone, like it was it was like not uncomfortable, but it was like very awkward listening because it just didn't sound like me, right? So now I've decided to just take the cuffs off, do whatever the heck I want, and speak how I'm going to speak. And I love sound effects. Okay. I love sound effects. I love swordplay. So these are some fun things. Sometimes I'll cast spells. Um, so like, but it's I have a very scattered brain as well, and that's partly why I was trying to like focus in. Um, but so maybe that's why. But so anyway, we're getting on to faculty lounge. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm terrible with names, and that's not just in the book world, that's in the real world too. So I'm going to I don't even know the names in this book. I just know like certain positions, kind of the gist, and then how it made me think and how I could relate to this, um, given the context of the book. So anyway, finally, on to the matter at hand, faculty lounge. All right, so this book is actually interesting. It is not is definitely not a book I would have ever read. But I mean, not necessarily due to content, but yes, I do in fact judge books by their cover. Absolutely. And this is 100% a book that seems like it's, from the cover, it's going to be like a cookie cutter, run of the mill. And it turns out like it in a sense it kind of was, but at the same time it's like I've never seen a book like this in the content. Okay. So it focuses on a high school in Texas, a fat ass high school in Texas. Excuse my language, sorry. It focuses on a really big high school in Texas. Um like thought of as the best high school in the area. And boom, boom, boom. Spoiler alert. Please don't. Yeah. Oh my God. Rango Dingo reads. He spoils. Sorry. As you can see, I'm going off the rails. Um, anyway, so this book, it starts off at this big high school and it goes through different perspectives of different teachers. So it has one main storyline and it all connects back to it. But each perspective, each teacher has a perspective in the book. Like every chapter is a different teacher. Some of them get multiple chapters. Some of them only have like one. Um, and so it covers like the guidance counselor, a couple teachers, a substitute, principal, AP, the nurse. Right. So it's one of the maids, the custodials, um, not maids, one of the custodial workers, and the sub one day comes in, goes into the faculty lounge, boom, finds this dead guy this new teacher finds this dead guy on the couch. Turns out the dead guy is this current sub, former teacher at the school. And so, he retired, couldn't stay away, had no family, so he goes back to subbing and and ends up dying at the school. Oddly enough, that's what he wanted to do. And so they end up like skip ahead. He ends up getting cremated, and his final wish is his son's like, yeah, my dad wanted to get his ashes spread at the school. He's like, I don't know why. I'm not even going to be there, but he wanted to do this. So can y'all do this? And so they did it, and it was super windy, and the wind blew the ashes into the face of the PTO. Oh yeah, it goes along and talks about the PTO lady, and so she's all mad about this, and then so obviously they have this dead guy, then they have this ash incident, and it turns into this whole thing. So one of the teachers, it goes like in the past and talks about her first year teaching English. She's an English teacher, a couple English teachers, and so she's an English teacher, and it talks about her past and her first running with him, and she was shy, and then they end up going to like this faculty lunch or dinner, and this guy gets super drunk and hits on her, and this is the guy who ends up dead, and she feels very uncomfortable, but then it was kind of like um, but he like kissed her and everything. And so, she continues teaching, then they have this weird relationship, like awkwardness throughout the rest of, her tenure there. And then these other English teachers are kind of just like, I'm quitting. I don't care about teaching. I'm moving on. And it was vaguely this, and they were getting it on in the closet. Okay, they had like a lockdown at one point, and they're just banging it out in the closet. Good for them. Okay, not accepted, but good for them. And one of them is this talks about this teacher. She lives next door to a student, and he's kind of got like the hots for her, and he goes into her room because he needs to watch her cat when she goes off on this vacation with her boyfriend, and the student finds her vibrator, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. And so then she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he found my vibrator. Did he find my vibrator? Of course he found it. So then he's like, basically I can just imagine he's like, oh yeah, I found her vibrator. I'm like, cool teacher. And apparently the way the book describes her, like she's a good looking teacher. And so she's banging this guy on the vacation. A lot of banging in this book. This book was a lot more sexual than I thought. So they're banging, and then he's like, "Oh, but we're not exclusive." So then she gets all upset and goes home, and they break up. And then it goes and talks about the nurse, and she's like, "Yeah, this girl came to me, and she was clearly pregnant, so I told her, hey, you can go here and get an abortion." And then does a flashback. She's like, "Well, I know what it feels like because I too had an abortion when I was in high school, and so I have a connection to girls who get pregnant in high school and don't want to tell their moms, and it's like this whole thing. So she's like this motherly lady, but like a dark side because she's breaking the rules, but for the right reasons, so that's interesting. Um, and then he goes back and just kind of connects to the principal. He gets like put on sabbatical because of obviously the guy dying and still being there, and took forever for them to resolve. And then the whole Ash incident, and they're like, "Oh, is he doing a good job?" And then they go out back and review it, and they're like, "Yeah, you're doing a good job." So go there, and then it made fun of professional developments, like in-service days. So everyone's in there, and they're like, "Hey, do this on this chart. You have to." Uh, do a KWL, which is what you know, what you want to know, and what you learned. And you get a groups of teachers, and they have to do different things, and they have to present and say, "Yeah, we did this, blah blah blah." And yes, that is something we have to do. And they were ripping on it, basically, and it was honestly kind of funny because it's uh it's definitely relatable from to some extent. But so. Anyway, so basically the point of the book is to show different perspectives and how different people react at schools and like different faculty members. But in the end, the way I took it, and perception is reality, of course, as you know, the way I took it is that a school faculty is a dysfunctional functional family or a functional dysfunctional family, however you want to word it. Either way, they're a dysfunctional family who functions. And okay, one of the teachers, the guidance counselor, she was an alcoholic. She was drinking on the job at her desk, right? So like these things that I can relate not necessarily to every aspect of it, but yes, a school faculty is in fact a dysfunctional family. You're a family to an extent. Yes, there are some people you like to work with, some people you don't like to work with. Some things that like work out, some things don't work out. And it is a family of sorts. Even in your real family, you're not always going to get along with everybody in your family. You're not always going to so you are going to get along with some more than others. It happens. There's crazy things that happen in your family, and but yeah, I mean, I would say that's what I took out of it is that this school is a functional, dysfunctional family, right? But this can connect to the real world. Like it's just because it's using a school to get this message across, right? Just because you're a dysfunctional family doesn't mean that you don't work well together. And right, just no family is perfect, but at the end of the day, you get the things done, right? You get the job done. And your family, you're loving, all that jazz. Ooh, it looks like it might rain today. La, 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 la. Ooh, I'm about to go to dinner. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. And so this dysfunctional family, like it works, it's a good time. And, you just, you kind of just deal with it. You find a way to deal with it, good, bad, and ugly. And, that's what I took from this book. And to me, I liked it a lot more than I expected to because, yeah, I 100% judge it by its cover. I mean, honestly, who doesn't? Like, we all judge books by its cover, by their covers. So I like this book way more than I thought I was going to. And, but I could relate to it. I can relate to it because I was a teacher. And I do recommend it. I like the book. It was weird though, because it was like boring and exciting at the same time. Like it wasn't anything overly special, but it was also a book that I would read again. So like it's kind of weird in that aspect. But maybe it's just because I can relate to it as a teacher. So maybe it hits me different. But I would read it again for various reasons, various unknown reasons perhaps. But that's my perception of it. That's my reality. You may perceive it totally differently. You may think it's the most exciting book ever. You may absolutely hate it. And you are 100% entitled to that opinion. And on that note, here we go. We're done with the review, just so you know. Something I always want to say in here, but completely forget to. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, really anything, you're interested on hearing my review about some book that I should read, I don't know, whatever, maybe, maybe not, who knows? You can email me at rangodangoreads@gmail.com. Right? I also have Instagram, Rango Dango Reads, and I have a TikTok of the same name, Rango Dango Reads. This is also on my YouTube channel, Rango Dango Space Reads. I think there's a space. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. But the link to buy this book is going to be in the episode description down low. And that's our time. This has been Rango Dango Reads. I'm Chase Tootin. Ta-ta, kittens.